Hey guys, welcome to this new episode of the Semi Soccer Experts Podcast, also known as the C Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian. As you may know, Mario's not here for today, but it's all good. I got a temporary guest host, my boy Billy. It's good,
Hey,
Billy. How you doing?
what's going on, man? Long time no see.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Billy. So Billy's here for the day. He's gonna, talk. He like me, a soccer fan. He actually, if anything, the man who got me to love soccer the way it is this man and Manchester United. So he's very well known, articulated, and obviously I want to have like guests who know their shit, and that's why I got this man here.
well, thank you. Yes, I've been watching soccer way too long.
Long enough?
Yeah.
Like what? Since you've been watching soccer since the days they had it like on what pay-per-view, and that you had to watch it on your own.
Yeah, like 20. I used to buy Manchester United FA Cup games for like $25. Back in the day. Also, I started watching '94, the World Cup here in the United States. I'm the only one in my family that watches soccer, so I didn't. I just got into it on my own, and I became a fan. Yeah, well, yeah. But so I just started watching the World Cup. I thought USA was the greatest team ever, and then I realized that we're not that good at all.
We're the greatest of all time.
And then from there I discovered club soccer, and from there I just randomly one day watched the Manchester United game and fell in love with them. They play, and from there I just learned more. And there was no Wikipedia back then to read, facts.
Do you remember the first Manchester United game you watched?
I would say it was probably around 2004. That's when Tim Howard actually signed up.
Howard.
Because he was here with the Metro Stars at the time. So I was like, oh, cool. This guy's going to England. They made a big deal about it. Obviously, I knew of Manchester United, from watching international soccer, but I didn't really know much about them or when they were on or anything like that. So I just was like, all right, cool. And then from there I started watching, and some guy also signed that same summer, Cristiano Ronaldo. And when I seen him play, and I was like, wow, that's like the coolest, he's trying to do all these like tricks and stuff. And from there, that's how the love affair started with both Ronaldo and Manchester United. So I continued, and as you may see, I have a lot of gray hair because of Manchester United the last few years, but I still support him. I still support him regardless of what's going on. So,
yeah, man. Yeah. So like I said, this is the guy who got me into soccer. We've been watching Manchester United play since early 2000s, late 2000s. We even watched them in pubs. And I remember famously I skipped class to go see them play Bayern Munich in that Champions League final whenever it did the super shot.
Yeah.
And I was so mad at Welbeck because I was like, yo, we can beat these fucking Germans. And we just never happened. But that's the love of it, the love of the game, essentially, because, going out to pubs, going out with your mates, and just watching the game. And that's why I do this podcast, because I want to share with all you guys, like, my passion and everything that I try to know and I learn about soccer, and just to share it amongst you guys. And that's the whole purpose. And, during these tough times, obviously, I would like to be in person and, having you face to face, but, we're doing as best we can. And hopefully everyone's doing well. Social distancing as well is still implemented. So, we're doing our best with the Zoom. And this is where we're going to talk about this episode. Before we went live, I was telling you, Billy, soccer's back. Obviously, we have Bundesliga on. There's also talks about the Premier League running back. There's also news about La Liga. They're actually going to return June 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Spaniard government's actually going to open up its borders too, which is something that's interesting to me, because I think I want to travel.
They would hit pretty hard too.
Exactly. So it's really, it's very an optimistic time right now, because we get to see our soccer. Serie A still to be determined. Same with the English Premier League. But little by little, as long as we get soccer, more soccer leagues and like around the European nations starting to come up. Hopefully this is an onward trend. I know NBA is starting to come back. MLS is starting to do talks. I heard they might actually play in Disney World, as crazy it seems.
Wow.
NBA's been negotiating with the Mouse, aka Disney, in regards to this. So it's still up and coming, and still a lot of rumors going on. So we don't 100% know. As of today, it's May 24th. A lot of things can change in a week. So hopefully by the next time, by when June hits, we have a better idea. But since soccer is back and everything is starting to get slowly back to normal, there's still a lot of concerns, and players who are uncomfortable, who are uncomfortable in regards to playing because they're not sure if it's the right thing to do. And I was reading this article about Troy Deeney. He plays for Watford. He's their captain. He's saying, I don't want to play. If and it's not just like, he's not scared or anything. Homie doesn't want to play because he has a young son who has health issues, have breathing issues as well, and he doesn't want to risk that. And I totally agree with that. And Billy, what do you think about that? Because I know you have kids, so I feel like there's something that you can totally relate to.
Definitely. Even when this first happened here in New York City, I told my boss, I was like, I'm not sure because nobody knows anything. And obviously New York City is the hardest hit area in the United States. And I told him, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable coming to work. And he was okay. He was, I understand. And I winded up taking off like 2 weeks when everything kind of happened because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I don't want to pass anything down to my kids walking out. Even now, it's a process when I get home. I get undressed in the hallway, spray myself with Lysol, inject it in my body, and run straight for the shower and leave everything outside because it's something. And now,
It's still a big
especially
risk.
now, they're saying some kids are getting, what is it, a Kawasaki?
I've
A
heard about it in
virus
the
or
news
something like
lately.
that. It's like,
Yeah, it's like
or, and
I don't
some,
know if it's a new strain or something, but it's affected the kids a lot more, especially here in New York City. A lot
yeah,
of kids are getting infected by
every day more people getting infected and some are even passing away. So that's something I don't want to happen. And as a father, I completely agree with Troy Deeney. You know, um, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but with my situation, I'm not exactly a sports athlete, so I don't have that much money, so I have to go back to work.
Yeah,
But if you can, if you have the money and it's not an issue, then do it. If you feel that to protect your family, that's the first thing as a father. Your job is your responsibility to protect your family. So I agree with him 100%. And especially, I believe Watford Players is the only club so far in England that's testing that two players I believe have been
yeah, they
tested
were
positive.
tested positive, and
So
and I feel like that's another red flag too because you got several players. I don't know if it's players specifically or staff, but regardless, they're within the organization. So that's something they should really be taking note of and precaution. I know they're doing like weekly tests, and I think the number went down this recent test. Like it was only 2 players or 2 people who got tested from all the clubs. But this is something to take into consideration. And I just hope, in regards to this, Watford or the EPL don't like seek any like reprimands or try to do anything to Troy Deeney because he is taking a stand. He's being brave about this, and I totally agree with him because if you have you know your loved ones and you don't want to affect them at all, you should not be pressured or anything of that matter to do anything that you're not comfortable with because we're human beings at the end of the day and lives matter. So I totally agree with what he's doing. And Troy Deeney's not the only player who's doing this as well. Conte as well. He's willing to sit out the rest of the season. And a player of his status, I feel like makes it's making a stand. And I don't know, like in regards to other players who feel about this, in regards, but I just hope there's no reprimands, and and I feel like this should just be, if the player chooses to do these actions, let them, no, and hopefully they should get paid their wages, because who knows, who knows when they obviously need the money because they're not doing anything, and they need to be covered in times like this. What do you think, man?
I agree. And with Conte, I'm happy that Chelsea, they said they're okay with that, with him staying home, but he's going to continue to do training at home. And Conte is a key figure for Chelsea, so he's
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
the rock
and
in
if
midfield.
yes, exactly, and him being gone for the rest of the season, if they do resume it, that could lead them and maybe perhaps losing a Champions League place. You know, with like 9 games.
Yeah,
How many games
because
left to play? Like 9
United
or 10
were
games?
like what 4 points behind them or something? 4 or 5
No,
points.
I think we're 3 points behind them. Like something like that. I was just looking at it yesterday, and I completely forgot.
Yeah,
But it was
no.
like 3 points. It was a lot closer than I thought. But now,
But I know it's within striking distance,
yes,
a
exactly.
game or
And
two
one game or two,
obviously
yeah,
is
exactly.
like right there within the standings. And yeah, and that's the thing too. And I feel like that can actually harm Chelsea, and it sucks though because if we do, overtake them in Champions League, it is what it is. But I still I still don't give any hard ass to Conte in regards to this because
Exactly.
he doesn't. I feel like I
And
feel like there should be no unwarranted criticism or pressure, especially from the media as well, in regards to this because we're slowly getting back. This virus is one of a kind, man. Like, it never happened in history. Like, people are staying home. Nobody wants to get affected. Nobody wants to get sick. And we were like 2 months ago, we were all willy nilly going out, doing all this stuff together. But now we just have to take caution in regards to setting things up. And I feel like in order to bring everything back together, we have to do it very, not slowly, but smart, in a smartful way of doing it. Because if not, we're gonna hit another second wave is gonna hit, and everything's gonna go to shit again. And I know countries are doing their best in regards to testing and ensuring that, and during these times we're taking procedure and all that. So hopefully all the right things and tools are being implemented because that's the one thing we all want to see personally. Like, I'd rather have everyone healthy and comfortable before any shit goes down. So, and yeah, but what do you think about other players? Do you think this is gonna affect like how the EPL is, in regards to Conte and Troy Deeney calling out? Do you see any players like wanting to, if there's more players who don't want to play? Do you feel like it's gonna be an upward trend or anything like that?
possibly, especially like Troy Deeney, captain of his club, lead by example. Conte, a rock in midfield, one of the main key players for Chelsea. So it's not like it's no disrespect to any of them, but it's not like it's bench warmers saying that they don't want to play.
Yeah,
It's
key figures.
players that key components to every team that play every game when they are available. So it's possible, and I think maybe some more players may come aboard with it. But from what I read this morning, I think only 2 players out of like all leagues in England tested positive, which is a good number from I think thousands of people. So they're going to probably use that as like, hey, only 2 out of 1,000, whatever the case is. So everyone should be safe. I'm sure a lot of players just want to get back to playing.
100%.
But I think maybe the younger players that don't really, that are in good health, don't have families, may take it differently. Like in this situation, I'm more cautious than someone that's just younger and just missing going to bars, because they don't have the responsibility of
Yeah.
caring for other people in that sense. So, I can see players like maybe like Rashford, Lingard having no issues with it, where maybe someone like Nemanja Matic may have an issue because he has a family.
Yeah.
He hasn't come out and said anything, but I can see something like that coming out in the future with players that have families and stuff. But I think they're still going to do it because they're losing so much money, and a lot of clubs are actually, losing so much money with this whole situation because they
Yeah,
strive on
and
TV
it's such a
rights.
shitty situation because teams are losing money. Organizations are, but at the same time, does money really matter in times like this, though? That's another question. A lot of companies, they gotta stay afloat to make things going, but at the same time, you do need money to survive, and that's the shitty part of like this society.
Yeah, and
Like,
unfortunately,
bailed out.
I think that the world is a greedy place. Everyone strives for money.
Yeah,
There are people
greed.
protesting that hospitals are lying, and you hear all these stories like people saying, oh, this is just fake. Well, go to a hospital and tell me if it's fake. Where I
Yeah.
live, I see 3 trailers full of, where they put the bodies that pass away. It's
It's
tough.
scary. Yeah, it's scary because and it's crazy because you never think in the day. It's like a movie what we're going through right now,
Mm-hmm. Like the
and
movie Pandemic. I think it was Pandemic. Oh,
yeah,
Contagion.
I think so. Like some people were like, "Oh my God, it's a conspiracy." This movie came out. No, it's just nobody predicted this. People thought of it and just like, "Hey, we'll just do a movie out of it." Who knows what happened? And it happens.
Yeah, well, things like that happen. You know, with viruses and new strains and stuff like that. The Spanish flu of 1918 as well. Is pretty similar to this. Just now, the world is a lot smaller in the sense that we can right
Yeah,
now.
we
Or
have
well, right
access to
now,
everything. That's the
exactly.
whole thing. In this day and age, with all the technology, and that's what I'm saying. That's the other, that's the good and bad of these days. Now we have access to everything. Like back in your times, man, we barely had access to what a good amount of soccer. Like I was saying, you had pay per
Mhm.
view. Like you had to go on pay per view, and not like get like those shitty movies or anything like that.
Yeah,
Pay
or
for
or I had to go to bars which I didn't complain, but go to bars like at 6 a.m. to watch Manchester and Chelsea.
Yeah, we still did that. We still
Yeah,
did
I did it for the experience.
Yeah,
And I don't drink or anything, but
yeah.
and it's crazy because like even at that time when I used to go to the bars like at 6, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the only one there. No one else is just crazy or passionate. And I remember I was waiting on the line at like 6:30 in the morning to go to a bar. And I'm like, oh wow! So that opened up how the culture here is in the United States or New York City in general. But we can't do that now. But going back to the whole issue with that, Germany so far is doing pretty good because they reopened like for 2 weeks now.
Because their government's doing a good fucking job with this thing.
Exactly, because England and the United States, I think the government's been.
We have dumbasses running the fucking
Yes,
countries. That's
I don't want to get political or anything like that on this, but
Mhm.
I think they didn't take it serious.
Yeah.
And for that, it cost more lives than it should have.
Yeah, because we just didn't take proper procedure in regards to containing the virus. That was the whole thing. Containing the virus, making sure everything's accounted for, go through A to Z. No, just took its time, let it roll its
Mm-hmm.
course. And then, and as we got to where we are right now. And that's why we're taking longer than expected to return as a nation because now everything is said by. There's still travel bans out there. People can't even go to like Mexico or Canada because it's the borders are shut off, which is a smart thing to do. Shut off the borders, which should have been implemented a long time ago. But hey, it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm just glad we're starting. We're on the trend of getting back to normal, and I just I'm predicting like I'm saying late June, July, we're gonna start having our sports back. What do you think? Like when we'll see everything back to normal, more or less?
Well, I don't think things are going to be back to normal
That's
for anytime soon. And I'm talking about normal like sports, watching sports with fans cheering.
yeah, fans, and that's the other thing. Fans is another.
That's going to be, I think. Hopefully, I'm thinking when the league reopens for next season, which I heard that they may be pushing it back because they want to get these games out. And then I heard they're going to do the European games, like the Champions League, Europa League, like in the summer, like July, August, I think.
Which makes sense. So I think we were okay, it was February, early March. Atletico knocked down Liverpool, so it
Yeah,
was around
they knocked out
16. I think it passed.
Liverpool. Bayern Munich will just dominate in Chelsea in the
Yeah.
first leg, but
So it's round of I think we're finishing around the 16, going into quarters.
Yes, and the same thing with the Europa League with us. We just beat
Oh
a
yeah, we're in the
team.
Europa League.
Yeah, yes. We just beat a team. Oh, I don't remember where, but it was like a small team. We beat a 5-0.
Yeah, some pub team.
Yeah, and I apologize to anyone that watches this and may be a fan of that team. I'm just drawing a blank at the present moment. But
It's been a long time, so.
yes, unfortunately, the quarantine started on my birthday. So.
Oh yeah, it did.
And,
on Billy Day.
Yeah, the year before we were out celebrating, and then a year later
fun
we're like stuck in a house. Yeah, crazy how life changes in the blink of an eye. But UFC started doing.
Okay, so the team we played was LASK Linz. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Was it from like Austria or something like that? No,
Yeah, I think there was some Australian team. Yeah,
not
there was some
Australia.
Australian team. We beat them 5-0.
Yeah,
And that was the first. Oh no, it was the
and
first leg.
that was
So
the first like we had thought to play them in Old Trafford.
yeah, because we play. Yeah, now I remember because we played them the first leg away, and it was with no
No
fans.
fans.
And
Yes,
we played the
it
best
was.
fucking game of our lives that day.
Yeah.
Well, the season. I'd say.
Maybe we're playing like City because
Yeah, seriously.
it used to be with no fans. But so I guess from what I heard, and then they're gonna postpone the season or push back the season a little bit later than usual.
Mm-hmm. I get
Excuse
you.
me for a minute.
No
So
worries.
my daughter's making noise.
That's all good.
Um, so that maybe may happen in September, maybe October-ish. But I heard they still want to try to have the league finish in May. And I think I was discussing that with you. Maybe they won't do an international break for a while so they can compact as many games.
Yeah, I don't see international games going on till
happening for a
next year.
while.
I think
Yeah,
till next year because there's still like South America's going through hell right now, man. If you ever heard,
Ecuador is
like
doing really bad.
Brazil's fucked.
Brazil.
Like I have a lot of Brazilian friends, and I hope all you guys are fine and your families out there too, because it's crazy there. They're starting to hit their peak right now, so it's very scary to be down there, especially Brazil and all of South America. So everyone just be mindful and safe if you're around that area, and just try to avoid it. Just for best sakes.
And the problem with those countries too is that a lot of them are really poor.
Yeah.
Like Ecuador. My wife's Ecuadorian, and you hear all these people die, and that sometimes they're just leaving the bodies in the streets.
Yeah.
It's
fucking crazy. It's like a movie.
Yes, it's exactly like a movie. But so with international, I think that might be out until probably next March, I would say, because I know they postponed already the Euro, the Copa
Yeah,
America.
all the summer games that usually happen, they're all postponed.
I heard to next year apparently. So in a positive, if everything gets back to normal by next summer, we're gonna have a hell of a freaking summer with soccer games because we have the Euro, the Copa America.
2021 is going to be
the Gold
interesting.
Cup.
Like this summer and next summer is going to be very intriguing. Like coming to think about it, and like from now at this perspective, we're going to have a summer where there's still club soccer, so it's not that bad, even though the Euros and everything is postponed. But we're gonna have club soccer, potentially Champions League, ending in like July and August, which is fine by me. I have no complaints.
Yeah, as long as it's done safely.
Keeps me occupied during then.
Exactly, and it's been kind of tough because we have no sports. We can't leave the house really to an extent, so just going crazy.
Yeah.
And for
as
kids,
long as I have soccer in the mornings, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I started on NBC. They have like goals of the season instead of games. Yeah. So sometimes I'll just put that on, and they'll show like all the season highlights from like 10 years ago and stuff like that, just to kind of get my fix. But now that Bundesliga is back, I've been watching more games of that. Next week, I think Bayern Munich play Dortment.
Yeah, they actually play this coming Tuesday at 12:30.
Oh, is it this Tuesday?
Yeah, it's random, but hey, fuck it. I have it earlier than later. Bayern Munich is going to be playing Dortmund 12 o'clock Eastern time. Then 12:30 is kickoff. And yeah, it's middle of the week type-ish, so something to look forward to. And it's actually a close game because Dortmund's literally like 4 or 5 points behind Bayern. So
yes, and so I hope Dortmund win to make it more interesting.
Yes, same here. I like Dortmund. They're always the underdog that you always want to root for.
And they play good soccer too, so.
Yeah, and Bayern, but just Bayern,
Exactly. But I also like the whole Pulisic when he played there, so that's why I used to root for them.
Have you been watching Baby Reina play?
No, I haven't watched him play really.
He's not too bad. The kid is before he's been playing constantly too, even before the lockdown. He did an assist, I think, in a Champions League game, or it was a league game.
Yeah, he plays for Dortmund, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was having a brain freeze. For some reason, I was thinking of another team that he was playing for, like Frankfurt. But
Oh no. But that's the crazy thing too, because and the good thing about the Bundesliga coming back, since it's like, because you and me firsthand, we're not Bundesliga fans like
no,
diehards. We love EPL. That's our league, our go-to, our bread and butter. But this is a good time to get exposed to the German league and
exactly.
get all the players there, because now you get to see how Dortmund plays, see how Bayern plays. Does it conflict with the times? And that was another thing, because all these games, we used to have so much consumption of soccer instead of that we can't view it all in one time, because it'll conflict, and we would just be done for the day after watching the EPL and potentially La Liga games. So that's what I'm saying. Now it's good that less is better, because now we have the opportunity to view it and dissect it. And I've been watching Dortmund play, and they have a great attacking lineup.
Yes.
Their counterattack cards look like shit, to be honest.
Yes. When you have Holland,
Speed.
right? Am I
Yeah,
pronouncing Holland?
Holland is the main striker.
They have that. I'm sorry, I'm not
Sancho,
familiar with the name.
should
Sancho, she hasn't even started, but they have that other. I don't know if he's from Spain,
Hakimi.
America, and he plays, I think, on the left.
Hakimi.
I'm having a brain freeze with names right now, because I'm not that familiar with the Bundesliga. But
Guerrero.
Good, yes.
Yeah, he's Portuguese. Rafa.
Portuguese. Oh, okay. And you watch them, and within like 4 passes, they're already on the other side.
Yeah, their transition is like,
yes,
they get it. Like,
and Holland is unfortunate. Well, he's going to go in a couple of years to a bigger team.
A lot of people have been joking that this is just an audition for him to get to Bayern. He'll be like the successor to fucking Lewandowski, which, to be honest, I can potentially see. But I think a kid like him, he should play like in a different league. I would have loved to have. We had the chance to get him at United. It's just mind blowing. We couldn't get him, but it is what it is.
But at the end, you a player like that will probably go to like Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
At the end, or even a Bayern Munich, because at the end of the day, if he likes the German league, But I have a feeling he's going to be very similar to Ibrahimovic, in the fact that I think he's going to travel a lot.
Gotcha.
I think he's going to test the waters in as many leagues and try to win as much as possible.
And the funny thing is he shares the same agent as Ibra, so go figure.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Raiola.
Yeah. But, and so far I think it's been back to like the Bundesliga. I think it's been pretty positive. I don't think there's been any new positive cases with any players. So
yeah, I think it's just been very limited from what I recall from Bundesliga. Not many people have tested positive. So, and like I said, they've done the correct steps. So that's why I feel comfortable with the German league returning. And, it's taken longer than the others. Like Italy, I'm surprised it's starting to. But, hopefully they take the right procedures and protocol. Same with Spain. Spain was hit really bad. And you got to think about England, too, when they're going to return. But like I said earlier in the episode, that La Liga is planning to return June 8th.
June 8th, yes.
So hopefully, it's literally like, 2 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks from now, we're going to potentially see like Messi and all the guys return back. And that's the thing. I haven't heard any noise about from their side of La Liga of any players who do not feel comfortable playing. Maybe we'll hear in the next couple of days, but hopefully we'll start to see something. And like I said, I'm grateful to have soccer back, and hopefully we get to see all the players who are comfortable enough to return,
exactly,
get back into the mix. And yeah, man, I'm just it's just it just sucks right now, but we're just making it through and just making the best of it. And I'm hoping all the best in regards to soccer.
And I'm hoping that there's no politics either, that they're forcing players to play. I think it should be everyone's choice based on their own individuality. So, but I just, I sound a little selfish when I say this. I just want soccer back on TV. I want something, but I want it to be done safe. Because also, what were they saying? One person can spread it to 8.
Yeah,
And then
because
eight
it
to
spreads
another.
like rapid fire. That's why.
Exactly. And that's what some people don't understand. Like the mortality rate may not be that high compared to how many people actually have it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the spreading
Yeah.
of it that's more. And some people don't understand. They still don't want to wear masks. They're protesting. It's it's America, and all these things. And I need to go back to the beach, and I think it's going to be interesting because like with MLS, that's more home based, and I know how bad New York was hit.
Yeah.
California.
I
Well,
don't. I
listen,
think
I think
with
they canceled those
our
sport events
domestic
next year.
leagues, it's going to be in a different state. It's definitely not going to be. I don't think New York is going to have any games in regards to that because we got hit the worst, to be
Yes.
honest. Um, so I'm fine if they do it in any other state. And I get it. Like I don't see any like U.S. based sports organization returning anytime soon. Not till at least July. I think. I think by July we'll start seeing somewhat of a rumbling in regards to who wants to come, what teams are coming back, what they're gonna do, and I don't think they should be played around New York for now because there's still people dying to this day.
Exactly.
Like I heard in the news recently. I mean, like the last 24 hours, that it was less than 100 people dying, which is
Which
good
is
news.
good,
But
but
at the
it's
same
still
time, there's still
exactly.
people dying, and I
Yes.
think a lot of people don't grasp that concept.
Check.
People are still dying from this virus, and we're not, fully. It's not that we're fully aware. Just people don't grasp that, and we have to make sure till we're hitting zero, where there's zero people dying, zero people getting affected. I think that's when we can start getting the ball rolling, getting everything back slowly but surely back together. In order to contain this virus, and given there's no vaccine, how do you prepare, in times like this?
And I wouldn't be surprised, in my honest opinion, if MLS doesn't start this season, if they just wait till next year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
My boy
surprised.
NYCFC don't want to hear that, but I think MLS is going to return because just for the sheer fact that it's the television deal that they have with Fox, and I think Fox and ESPN, it's like a split deal. So they're gonna have to they're gonna look to return, just to make sure they get paid, obviously, and all the teams do. So I don't think they're gonna forego other countries, like the French league and Dutch league. They was like, we'll cancel the season. There's no point.
Yes.
But here, it's more capitalistic.
Yes. And like I said, I can see them starting the season again, but I don't know. Not to sound like negative Nancy or anything like that, but I'm just afraid that we may see signs progress too soon, and we're gonna just open up way too fast, and
Open
we're
up a
gonna
can
get
of
hit with a
worms.
second wave.
Yeah. Well, I know that's the one thing that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping. I can't stress this enough. Hoping we don't get
Yes.
there.
If
Wish for everyone's sake.
MLS decides to open it in July, like you said, I'm down for it. I'm down for any soccer at this point in time. And especially the Premier League. But if they feel that it may not be too safe for the players, I think they shouldn't even contemplate it just because of money.
I feel you, man.
And
And
some teams in England, because the finances from the television deals, they want to reopen just so they can have money so the club can stay afloat.
yeah, we mentioned that in our last episode.
you know?
We were talking about the whole TV deals and like how it's going to affect the teams in the lower leagues because they don't make money from there. They actually make money through the fans. They revenue, everything of that matters. So a lot of the lower leagues are just canceling because they already furloughed their players. They're like, yo, we can't afford you. So it affects everybody. That's pretty much how this thing has been going, man. But at the same time, hopefully, there's a plan set in motion. We'll get back soon, and soccer slowly but surely is going to be back, and I'm happy for it, man. One thing I want to ask you before I wrap this up, man.
Sure.
What's your favorite game that you watch, EPL Champions League, that you've seen live at a bar, pub, whatever the case may be?
Live, not like I'll have to say, that night in Moscow.
Moscow. Drinking by yourself?
Yes. Because Champions League games here like 2:30 in the afternoon, so I had work.
Talk about it like how about how it was back in 2008 watching a game.
It was on ESPN, which had way better coverage than TBS.
Yeah.
I am so against the move to
Well,
broad the
the
Turner
BR
broad.
Live, all that shit now with the
Yes,
Champions League
because
coverage.
now they show one game
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. And
Sometimes
before,
I have to watch
I
the
love
games in
when Fox
Spanish.
Sports was doing
As
Champions
Fox
League.
Sports did very well too.
Yeah.
And with this, it's like you got to pay for a game, like $5, which okay, it's not that much or whatever. I pay for a couple.
And that's another thing too nowadays with soccer. You have to pay for like specific kind of packages just to get your specific kind of sport or
Yes,
league or
I'm dealing
anything.
with that
It's
with
so
ESPN
fucking
Plus.
annoying.
It's not only is annoying, that's so many more passwords I have to remember. you know,
It's not
ESPN
new
Plus
Master
because
69.
yeah, what is it? You love boobs? Yes, I do. But ESPN Plus because they have the League Cup games and the FA Cup games. So it's kind of like they're just using us for money because whereas before they would be showing most of those games on TV or before it started growing here, it used to be on pay-per-view. So I guess it was maybe a similar thing. They're just trying to make as much money as possible and squeeze it out of us. But with that game, like I said, it was on ESPN, which had way better coverage than TBS. The Spanish channels have better coverage than TBS.
Yeah, I watched Champions League on Univision. Fuck TNT.
Yeah, plus WCW. So, but that day, and I remember I recorded the game, and like the whole day I couldn't concentrate. I was nervous. I just remember I didn't even wear my jersey to work or anything like that because I didn't want people to comment about the game on my
shit or
or whatever. I didn't want any casualties. So so I just ran home. I texted my girlfriend at the time. It's like, don't bother me. And I shut off my phone. And I watched it. And the good thing about recording is that you can pause it, go to the store if you have to, or the restroom.
Yeah, I know about you, Mr. DVR.
Yes. And the good thing, we won. It was nerve-wracking. It was a hell of a game. They hit
Viva John Terry.
Yes. But when we won, it just kind of sucked because I was by myself.
You're celebrating solo.
I'm throwing a little bit of the bubbly on myself, I would have loved to have been at a bar. Now that I think about it, I think if I could go back in time, I probably would have called out of work that day.
I know, Champions League final. Dude, if we had a chance, like for Europa League final, I left work early. I forgot what excuse I did. But I went because Nevada's closed by then. But luckily, I think I told you, I saw it at a pub and Patty was there. This is like background knowledge for everyone who isn't aware about Nevada Smiths, but that was our go-to bar. It was the most famous soccer bar. I don't care. It was my favorite soccer bar up until it closed. And the owner, Patty, old Irishman, fucking awesome guy, very, down to earth. Will talk to anybody. He always gets you drinks and shots, man. He was that kind of guy, man. Really cool. And I got to see him at the pub, and we were just talking shit and watching the game. We watched the whole Euro final. We were happy, and it was a good time. That's what makes it memorable for me. I know Europa League is not the same as the Champions League, but at the same time, it was still a major accomplishment, and I was just over the world just seeing United win.
And even another game that's good, even though we didn't win, was the 2011 Champions League final.
Oh yeah, we went
to the Nevadas.
Yeah, we did.
You showed up late as usual. I think Travis was there before you, which is crazy. And I think it was already maxed out. But
yeah, we were in the basement.
Yeah, we were in the basement. Yes, I had my Manchester United flag.
Mm-hmm.
We lost. It was sad, but the drinks taste so good afterwards.
Yeah.
It would have been better for the win, but it was still, we lost. But the environment, the atmosphere, everything was just so awesome. The fans singing, everyone talking crap to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now with Nevada's closed, we watched this other. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. But we watched this other spot.
Is it not Soccer Factory?
No.
Football Factory, no. What's the other one?
I feel like it was a C. It's gonna come to my head. Anyways, regardless, we did watch the EFL Cup final one of those 2 years ago, I think it was.
With Mourinho.
Yeah, 3 years ago actually, when Zlatan won it for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that those are like that's the point of it. That's what. If you were to ask me why I love soccer or why I like to go to soccer bars, reasons like that. When you're in an atmosphere in a full bar full of fans cheering your team going, nothing beats that, man.
I found out the name of the bar, Smithfield.
Smithfield. I don't know why I thought it was C. I got confused with my other
Yeah, Schmitzfield. You know,
Smithfield. Yeah, another like I will
good
rank it
bar.
probably like number 2 or 3 is my favorite soccer bar here in New York because
Yes,
they also have an atmosphere. They have a large united fan base.
yes,
It really gets
and the
packed
food is
there.
pretty good, and the food is good too.
Dude, they're
Which
fucking
I'm
brunch
starving right now.
burgers.
So,
They're
yeah.
brunch burgers. Like I'm hungover. I could go for that right now.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. The food is good. The atmosphere is good. You know, Nevada Smiths, when they moved to a bigger building, it was 3 floors.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. For the World Cup, we saw USA Portugal.
Yeah, we
That
did. Yeah, we
was
were there for
I
World
didn't
Cups.
the game. I got there for the first game, which was like Russia and some other team, and
Saw a lot of vodka be drinking.
yeah,
Ruskies.
and I got there just so I can get in, and then next thing you know, I was there since like 12 in the afternoon, and I didn't come home until like 1 in the morning. I don't know how I went to work the next day, but I did it.
Yeah, telling me. I remember that game too, the USA Portugal game, and then I had to go to work the next day, like at 7 a.m. I was so
Yeah.
tired, but
You actually
it was
left.
so worth it though.
You left, and I stood there.
Yeah, no, I was like, screw you,
Alex.
I gotta go work.
Yeah. Everyone left me. It was just Alex and I. We were just there, like talking with Patty,
Yeah,
you know, and his son.
yeah,
Like
like Gareth Bale, right?
Yes. He was cool as hell too.
Yeah, those were good times, man.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. This is why I love the beautiful game. There's so many memories, so much. We could go days and stories about talking about different times when we went to go see, and probably could do that in a future episode. But that's the whole thing. That's why I miss. I think you and me can equally agree that we haven't had this, but when definitely things come together, definitely have to go to a bar and watch a game with you, man. And hopefully we have that time again soon, man.
Yes. And it's crazy. How I took it for granted.
Yeah, we
I
take.
was like, I can go to the bar tomorrow. I'm not going to go for this game.
Yeah, exactly. But now we're like, fuck, I want to go now. I want to go now.
I'm already lining up outside.
Yeah, seriously.
But,
I want to thank you again, Billy. Thank you
problem. Thanks for having me.
being my co-host for today. Hopefully we get you in for another episode. All right, man?
Just let me know.
I want to thank for all you guys listening to this episode. Just listen, subscribe, and yeah, just let us know what else you want to hear from us. Thank you.